My love-hate relationship with running as a trans woman. It's a quiet gym, it's the first day of 2026, and I'm starting the year with my very first run. As I take you along with me today, I want to share something really personal. This is my love-hate relationship with running. You see, I genuinely love running now, but that wasn't always the case. The hate part of the story is somehow deeply connected to my journey as a trans woman. And hey, I just want to be clear, I won't be getting into politics or debates about trans women in sports. This is purely my lived experience, how I navigated my health, my movement, and generally in sports as a Filipino trans woman. And I would like to share this in hopes that you'll understand trans women better. Probably you can relate even if you're not a trans woman, and maybe you would feel a little less alone. Well, I do have love-hate relationship with sports in general, but for today, let's stick with running. So growing up, I was raised by my nanay, a single mother. We lived in our ancestral house, which was a very male-dominated. I had uncles living with us and cousins who lived nearby. Sports were a big part of our everyday life. So from time to time, my cousins would come over and we would be told to play like boxing, cycling, running around, all the quote unquote boy sports you can think of. But riding bicycles was the only one I actually liked. Everything else felt like, I don't know, a test. I feel like I constantly had to prove that I was, quote unquote, man enough. Honestly, I hated those moments. I would try to hide, make excuses, or disappear if I could. But most of the time, I was forced to join in. I was a kid. I didn't really have much choice. Then in elementary school, ooh, something unexpected happened. I was scouted for the athletics team. I competed in track and field. I was a sprinter and I was a jumper of our team. I trained hard, competed well, and eventually I even received Athlete of the Year award, which honestly still makes me laugh a little. So now you might be wondering, if I was good at it, why the complicated relationship? Well, here's why. Growing up as a quote unquote boy who felt different, who felt like I am a girl inside, I was constantly put in situations where I had to prove strength, compete with other boys, and fit into spaces that, I don't know, it didn't feel safe for me. During competitions, we stayed in male dorms. That part, oh gosh, terrified me. It was uncomfortable, confusing, and honestly, it was just emotionally exhausting. Now, during training, I had to act like one of the boys, even though I couldn't really help being soft, my voice, my movement, the way I carried myself. In fact, I would sway my hips without even realizing it. I spoke so gently, and because of that, sadly, I sometimes get bullied. I tried to ignore it and focus on training. In fact, my coaches believed in me. They told me that if I trained harder, I could compete at the national level. And I did train harder. But with that came muscle development that I absolutely hated. Imagine feeling so soft, graceful, and feminine inside while watching your body change in ways that felt completely wrong. It was painful, it was scary, it just didn't feel right at all. So now, when I entered high school, there was an opportunity for me to stay in athletics and even get a scholarship. But that didn't push through. Gender dysphoria caught up with me. And at that time, I didn't even have the words for what I was feeling. I don't know. I didn't know what a trans woman was. All I knew that I was different from the other boys, and that difference, ooh, felt heavy. And so by early college, I stopped doing sports completely. I hated it. I wanted nothing to do with it. But now, fast forward to adulthood, when I started working and eventually joined beauty pageants, fitness became non negotiable, and running naturally became my go to for weight loss, stamina, and conditioning. Thanks to my athletic background, getting back into it wasn't too difficult. That's when the love part slowly begun. At first, it was scary. Running brought back old memories of pressure, of judgment, of discomfort. But little by little, I found my rhythm. I started running for myself, not to prove anything to anyone else. While, of course, gender dysphoria still showed up from time to time, especially in a culture like ours, where sports are still very male dominated and physical activity is often tied to masculinity, being a trans woman in that space isn't always easy. I feel blessed. I was feeling lucky that I found supportive, accepting people in the running community. Over time, I noticed that runners today are more welcoming. There's less judgment, though, yes, there are still moments of curious stares, awkward looks, questions that came from, I don't know, lack of education. Honestly, those moments can be demotivating. But also, trans women are resilient. We've been through worse, and we learn to care less and keep moving forward. Now, eventually, running stopped being just an exercise. It became part of my routine, then part of my identity, and eventually a lifestyle. Running is now meditative for me. It clears my mind, it grounds me. The love and hate still coexist, but this time, it's the love that leads.
I'll see you guys on the road, and please smile when you see a fellow runner. See ya.